Hello and welcome back. In this episode we're going to take a look at the AlertDialog widget. The AlertDialog widget allows you to specify a title, some custom content and a list of actions. As you can see, our homepage contains a scaffold with an app bar, and we're going to go on ahead and create a floating action button, like so. We're going to give the floating action button a child of an open in new window icon, like so. And the on pressed for now we just leave empty. Save that and you'll notice that we have our floating action button in the bottom right hand corner of the scaffold. And now what we're going to do inside this on pressed callback, we're going to open up the AlertDialog to display a message to the user. First thing we're going to want to do is make the on pressed callback function there asynchronous, because the action of showing a dialog is an asynchronous operation. What we can do now is say await ShowDialog, and ShowDialog can be used to show either a simple dialog, an alert dialog as in this case, or just a dialog. We provide it with the surrounding context which is required, and we just space it out nicely, like so. The ShowDialog method takes, the ShowDialog function I should say, takes a context, a builder which will be used to build the dialog, barrier dismissible, barrier color, use safe area, use route navigator, route settings, and child. Child is deprecated at the time of recording, and it's recommended that you use the builder callback function to return your dialog rather than specifying the dialog with the child widget. Barrier dismissible is set to true by default, which means when you click the surrounding area outside the dialog, it will automatically dismiss. If you change that to false, the only way you'll be able to dismiss the dialog is manually through one of the actions. Barrier color can be used to customize the color of the surrounding area, which by default is set to a dark grey color. So, using that builder callback function provides us with a context, and it should be used to return our alert dialog. So we can specify return alert dialog, like so. And you'll notice that the alert dialog has a number of parameters that are available to us for customization. The title controls the title of the dialog. The title padding controls the padding around the title widget. Likewise, the title text style controls the text style of the title. The content is, if you like, the main body of the dialog, with the content padding and content text style serving the same purpose as their title counterparts. The list of widgets here for the actions is the different actions that the alert dialog has available. For example, you could have a yes and a no action, you could have an OK action, or you could have a confirmation action. The opportunities are endless. You then have the actions padding, which controls the padding around the actions, the overflow direction, which controls the direction that the actions overflow in, and you've then got the button spacing to control the spacing around each one of the action buttons. Likewise, you've got the button padding, background color, elevation, semantic label, inset padding, flip behavior, shape, and scrollable. We will give our alert dialog a title, which will be a text widget saying error, and we'll specify the content to also be a text widget, and we will say an unknown error has occurred. Please try again later. A classic error alert dialog there. Last but not least, we will create our list of actions, which in this example will just be a single flat button, like so. The flat button will have a text of simply OK, and the on pressed, which we will leave blank for now. If we save that and then press our floating action button, you'll see our dialog here with the title of error, content of an unknown error has occurred, please try again later, and the single action here of OK. It's this actions list that you can specify one or more actions, for example, a yes and a no, a single confirmation, or in this case just an OK button. As we mentioned earlier, clicking on the area outside of the alert dialog will by default dismiss the dialog. In this onPressed callback function, we can use the navigator to close the dialog by specifying navigator.ofContext.pop. Essentially that will pop the alert dialog from the navigation stack and revert us back to the page that's got the context. If we save this and open up that alert dialog once more, you'll notice how clicking the OK button will dismiss the dialog. You'll notice that the pop method here takes an optional result, and you can use this result to customize the data returned from the ShowDialog function. You'll notice that ShowDialog is a feature of type T, meaning that it's asynchronous, and it returns a custom type that you specify. For example, we could return a string here, specify the type of ShowDialog to be string, and then we could say final result equals await ShowDialog, and that result property would store whatever is popped from the alert dialog. However, for the purposes of this demonstration, with a simple OK action, we can just pop without specifying any result. Essentially, you'll notice on the ShowDialog, as we mentioned earlier on, the barrier dismissible property, which, if we specify barrier dismissible of false, when we open up that alert dialog, you'll notice how clicking in the space around the alert dialog will not dismiss the dialog. This is useful if you want to have a compulsory yes or no action in your alert dialog, and you don't want the user to be able to dismiss the dialog by simply clicking in the surrounding area. Essentially then, the main difference between the alert dialog and the simple dialog is that the simple dialog displays a title and a list of options, whereas the alert dialog is somewhat more flexible, allowing you to display a title, some content, and then a list of actions. For example, OK, yes and no, or a confirmation action, whichever suits your requirements. I hope you found this useful. Thank you very much for watching.